Dude, it's so boring today. Like, damn. So blazing hot outside. My doorbell went off. Yeah, I'll go check it. Hope it's not Eggman again. Hey dude, can I help you with something? I finally found you. You are the Iblis Trigger. The blue hedgehog. Yeah, no, I don't got time for this. We probably all remember Sonic the Hedgehog, or Sonic the Reboot. What I'm talking about is Sonic 06. If you spend more than 5 minutes on the internet, you've probably already heard the opinions surrounding this game. It's widely considered one of the worst Sonic games ever made. And guys, Sonic Labyrinth exists. Like, come on. Also, let me throw a fun fact. This is the first Sonic game that Sonic actually dies. And I definitely can't forget about the kiss scene. That thing has been living rent-free in my brain ever since. Get it out of here. And look, I'm not here to lie to you or anything and pretend to say, oh, this game is such a misunderstood masterpiece. And if it had more time in the oven, it would have been the Sonic Adventure 3 we always wanted. No. Hell no. What I'm saying is that Sonic 06 gets treated like complete radioactive waste for all the right reasons. I mean, it almost killed Sonic the Hedgehog as a franchise. It destroyed the series' reputation, and Sega was unsure how to continue after a failure like that. And even after Sonic Unleashed, the fan reputation was still bad, which basically pushed Sega towards making games like Sonic Colors and Sonic Lost World. So, if this game essentially triggered a decade-long identity crisis for an entire franchise, why am I sitting here making a video defending it? Because despite being the absolute lowest point for the entire franchise, I actually enjoyed Sonic 06. Because when you are forced to wait 3 minutes on a loading screen, just to talk to an NPC for less than a few seconds, you actually get to experience what Sega was trying to cook up in that kitchen. And then burning down the whole kitchen in process. You start to see the vision of the game, and the strongest proof of that comes down to one character. Shadow the Hedgehog. I'll give you a few seconds to think about where Shadow was right before Sonic 06. Got an idea in mind? Great. If you thought an overly edgy personality running around with guns asking who I am every 5 minutes, you'd be right. It was edgy, it was a mess, and it left his character in a weird spot. But then Sonic 06 rolls around, and somehow Sonic Team delivers what most fans consider the best characterization of Shadow in the entire franchise. In this game, Shadow isn't reminiscing on the past anymore. He's completely moved on from his trauma, and is working for Gun. And his dynamic with Rouge and Omega is generally great. They feel like a real team, built on trust and mutual respect. Then enters Mephiles the Dark, one of the most interesting villains in the entire series. Mephiles doesn't just try to beat Shadow in a fight, he tries to break him. He drags Shadow into the future, and shows him proof that humanity will eventually turn on him, feel his power, and betray him, locking him away forever. He doesn't throw a pity party, and he doesn't join Mephiles. He takes off his inhibitor rings and basically tells them,
if the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
That scene alone leaves you genuinely hyped for whatever is next for Shadow the Hedgehog. Silver the Hedgehog. Speaking of new addition, we have to talk about Silver the Hedgehog. If Shadow's story was a dark thriller, Silver's campaign gives me straight up Dragon Ball Z vibes. He's basically future Trunks. He comes from a ruined apocalyptic future that's constantly being burned to the ground by a giant monster named Iblis. He's naive, desperate to save his world, and gets completely tricked by Mephiles into traveling to the past to kill Sonic, who Mephiles claims is the Iblis Trigger. What makes Silver work so well is his dynamic plays a cat, a character that we've seen before in Sonic Rush. Their friendship gives the story genuine emotion by the end of this campaign. Now, I know what you're thinking, what about his gameplay? I have to say, touche. His boss fight is pretty rough, but I got through it easily enough. You might be wondering how. I just ran circles around him, stayed as far as possible from him, and waited for the magic words.
It's no use! Take this!
Still felt like torture, but hey, no pain, no gain. First, let's back up, because you can't talk about Sonic 06 without mentioning Sonic Campaign. Sonic Campaign is really the connective tissue holding the other two together. He's a character everyone else's story revolves around, and his levels are honestly where a lot of the game's genuine ambition shows up. Wave Ocean has you grinding rails over open water, jet skiing, launching off ramps, straight in loops. Kingdom Valley has you running a literal collapsing castle, while boulders size of building crash down around you. Tri-City drops you into a burning wind-torn city, with debris flying at your head from every direction. When the physics cooperate, and yeah, that's a big when. That's pretty rare, to be honest. 1 in a million, if you ask me. The levels become some of the fastest, most cinematic set pieces Sonic Team had built up to that point. Can generally fuel later games like Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Generations, pulling ideas from here. Now, if there's one thing even the biggest, most dedicated Sonic 06 hater cannot deny, it's that the soundtrack is an absolute masterpiece. First, the main theme, His World. There are a few versions of this track, but the Zebrahead version is pure perfection. Just listen to this for a second. And it's not just Sonic Team. Silver gets Dreams of Absolution by Bentley Jones. Hands down my favorite track in the game. It fits his futuristic vibe perfectly. Shadow also gets Crushing 40's rendition of All Hail Shadow. Even beyond the vocal tracks, the level's music is insane. The violin in Crisis City, the grinding orchestral swell of Kingdom Valley, the relaxing vibes of Wave Ocean. The devs might have run out of time to fix a collision in physics, but the sound team was in that studio cooking like never before. And honestly, the worst Sonic game, the better the soundtrack is, if that even makes any sense, even if that doesn't hold up for every entry in the series. And that brings us to the climax of this chaotic story, the moment where Sonic 06 pulled off something no other Sonic game had ever done. They killed the Hedgehog! Look at my boy, he's fucking dead, bro. He's dead! He's dead. He's dead. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. Yeah. Now to bring Sonic back, we need the 7 magical dollar store eggs. Wait, the wrong script. Hold on. That's right. I mean, the 7 Chaos Emeralds. And after getting all 7 of them, we watch the emeralds surround Sonic, while at least kisses him. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty weird, but hey, Sonic's alive again. And what follows is generally one of the most epic final bosses in Sonic history. You don't just get Super Sonic, you get Super Shadow and Super Silver, all fighting together across past, present, and future to defeat Solaris. Now, with everything else finished, let's actually talk about the bugs. Because Sonic 06 isn't a little rough around the edges. On console, it's borderline unplayable. The load times are the most famous ones. You could like gently walk away from the game, do something else with your life, and come back to the game still loading. Now, for full disclosure, I dodged a lot of that specific pain because I emulated the game on PC, so the load times were pretty quick and weren't really a problem. But I don't want to pretend I got scot-free. There was like still some major bugs. Also, the physics were kind of bad. Also had problem with the textures. They would like go missing sometimes. It would be like pretty weird and glitchy sometimes. But I think that was more from the emulation. So no, my experience wasn't that amazing. Still a lot of bugs, but I didn't have to wait through the crazy load times and everything else. Now, here's the thing I keep coming back to. Almost none of this is a design problem. Nobody designed the game to be buggy like this. Every bug on our list is explained by this needed more time. Not whoever made this didn't understand Sonic. Just had bad execution and bad ideas that they got combined together, creating a mistake. So with that out of the way, let's move on to the next section. So, at the end of the day, where does Sonic 06 actually stand? Is it a polished masterpiece? Fuck no. What is wrong with you? Is it a buggy, broken mess that burned any hope for another Silver game and left the franchise in a decade-long identity crisis? Yes, but it's also a game that gave us good shadow writing, a soundtrack full of bangers, a villain who actually killed Sonic, and level layouts so good Project 06 turned them into gold. In a weird way, I respect Sonic 06 far more than some of the safer games Sega released years later. It failed, but it failed while reaching for the stars. Get it? Reaching for the stars? Yeah, I'll shut up. If you actually enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and maybe let me know if you actually liked the video. and what he thought about it. Sayonara.